In today's Final Touch, Germany has a unique way of dealing with more than 4,000 pieces of luggage.
Luggage that's been lost or left unclaimed for at least 6 months. They hold an auction. The buyers get the luggage, and here's the kicker, they get what's inside the luggage as well. It's a packed auction house and dozens of hands raised at the same time, bidding for who knows what. It's kind of like a lottery. One family paid $345 for 3 pieces of luggage. Inside they discovered clothes, a coat, an audio headset, and a well-stocked toiletry bag. Surprise, surprise. News 3 at 5 starts right now.
Right now at 5, the man accused of killing a Lake Mills fire captain on New Year's Eve is no longer in jail.
How Dane County emergency responders are remembering 4 of their own they lost in 2018.
And a Madison nightclub's owner is taking the first step towards suing a city alder. We'll have the very latest.
This is News 3 at 5.
And thanks for staying with us for News 3 at 5. The man accused of killing a Lake Mills Fire Department captain while driving drunk on New Year's Eve was released on signature bond today.
28-year-old Samuel Kramers of Columbus was assigned a $5,000 signature bond. He was arrested by Monona police on tentative charges of homicide by intoxicated use of a vehicle after crashing into Captain Chris Truman on the Beltline. Truman had stopped on the side of the road to help a woman who had lost control of her car while driving in the snow and later died of his injuries at the hospital. The state has not yet filed a criminal complaint, and Kramers has not been charged.
This case is going to take some time to investigate. Appreciate the police made an arrest the night of the incident, but there's going to be a significant delay before the reconstruction comes in, as well as the results from the state crime lab.
Kramers' next court date is March 7th.
And with the new year just underway, Dane County emergency responders are remembering the 4 of their own who they lost in 2018.
The most recent one being Captain Truman. Rose Schmidt is here to explain some of the challenges that EMS and fire crews face. Rose.
Well, when tragedies like this strike the area, like when Captain Truman died this week, a Madison fire chief says one of 2 things can happen. It either pushes people toward or away from the fire service. 4 emergency responders died in Dane County in the last year. Madison firefighter Richard Gardner died suddenly hours after his shift. EMS technician Matthew Adams was killed in May trying to help a driver who crashed. Captain Corey Barr was killed during the explosion this summer in Sun Prairie. And Captain Truman of Lake Mills died this week. Madison Assistant Chief Lance Langner says crews across Dane County are reflecting on the losses of the people who were so embedded into their communities.
Losing 4 brothers or sisters in a year for Dane County is no easy task. And those are shoes of people that it's not going to be easy to fill them.
These deaths come at a time when fire and EMS crews across the country are having trouble recruiting new members. Chief Langer says it's especially difficult to recruit volunteer firefighters. He says it's a challenging, time-consuming field, and some might see these tragedies as a reason to run in the opposite direction, but others see it as a reason to become a first responder. Captain Truman's funeral is scheduled for this weekend. The Lake Mills Fire Department put out a call asking for workers to cover their shifts so they could attend those services, and firefighters and EMS crews from around the area responded within minutes. They had 100% of those shifts filled, so kind of shows you what a strong community this is.
They always step up, but that is too many lives lost for our first responders. Rose, thank you. Meanwhile, other departments across southern Wisconsin are coming together to remember Captain Truman. Sun Prairie's Fire Chief Chris Garrison says he feels for the Lake Mills Fire Department, especially after his department went through that loss of their own when Sun Prairie Fire Captain Corey Barr was killed responding to the gas leak this past summer that led to an explosion that leveled part of downtown Sun Prairie. Fire Chief Garrison says the firefighting and emergency personnel community is a family.
No matter where it is, it just doesn't mean Sun Prairie. It translates throughout the whole fire. And honestly, fire, police, EMS, we're all in this together.
Barr and his fellow firefighters saved many lives by evacuating that area before the explosion. 2
Republican legislators have introduced a bill that would make first-time drunk driving a crime in Wisconsin. Representative Jim Ott and Senator Alberta Darling began circulating the proposal for co-sponsors today. The bill would make a first offense a misdemeanor punishable by up to $500 in fines and 30 days in jail. Wisconsin is the only state where first offense drunken driving is a civil violation and not a crime. Democratic Governor-elect Tony Evers said yesterday he wants to criminalize first offense drunk driving as a deterrent. Let's get a first check on the weather now. Gary Canolti is on the weather patio. Hi, Gary.
Hi. Pretty nice day today. Lots of sunshine and temperatures in the mid to upper 30s, so it felt very comfortable. And the next couple of days will be even milder. Let's start out by taking a look at visible cloud track. You can clearly see the snow on the ground that fell on New Year's Eve evening. You can see across southern Wisconsin into parts of eastern Iowa. There are some mid and high level clouds just to the north of us, but they're really not amounting to very much as far as snow is concerned. That's pretty much on the eastern end of Lake Superior, moving into Ontario and away from southern Wisconsin. So things very quiet right now across the southern portion of the state. Temperatures right now are low temperatures this morning start out in the low 20s here, but to the north they were in the teens and even a few single digits. But look where the high temperatures were today. Here in Madison we topped out at 37. Milwaukee hit 40, as did Boscobel. Janesville topped out at 39, and current temperatures are still in the low to mid 30s through much of southern Wisconsin, a few upper 30s over the southwestern portion of the state. By tomorrow morning, those temperatures will only drop into the middle 20s thanks to southerly winds overnight. Then look for sunshine during the day tomorrow. Our high temperature a little milder than today at 39. That's your First Alert forecast.
All right, Gary, thank you. A Wanakee woman is sentenced to 3 years in prison plus 3 years extended supervision for hitting a pedestrian with her car, eventually causing her death. It happened 2 years ago this month. Nicole Bruns of Wanakee sentenced today after pleading no contest in October to homicide by intoxicated use of a motor vehicle. 4 other charges were dismissed. She hit 21-year-old Alexandra Ime of Hollandale with her car while drunk. Happened in the early morning hours, January 15th of 2017. Ime died from her injuries weeks later and today was remembered in court.
She sounds like an absolute force of nature, a positive, optimistic, caring individual, a force for good, and then she was needlessly taken from us. Her limitless future was extinguished.
In the weeks after Alexandra was hit, she talked quite a lot about the defendant and what she felt was fair punishment. This was important to Alexandra, and we must stand for her.
Police say Bruns' blood alcohol content was twice the legal limit to drive. They say she fled the scene after the crash.
A Madison nightclub's owner is taking the first step towards suing the city alder who started a petition to have the club's liquor license revoked. The nightclub's attorney, Jeff Scott Olson, sent a statutory notice of claim to Madison Alder David Ahrens and City Clerk Maribeth Witzel-Beal today. 4 people have been arrested in connection with a shooting at Visions that happened in December. Owner Tom Reichenberger said, quote, "We have worked too hard over the decades to build our reputation as a clean and law-abiding business." Ahrens is asking residents to sign a petition to revoke Visions nightclub's liquor license. He said he has not formally received the notice, but he said if and when it is properly served, I will turn it over to the city attorney for review.
A man accused of shooting his girlfriend multiple times in 2017 and engaging police in a standoff for several hours is heading to trial. Edward Matthews stood mute in court in Dane County Court as the court entered a plea of not guilty on his behalf. Police say Matthews shot his girlfriend multiple times August 30th of 2017 after a 9-hour standoff with police in Monona that ended in a house fire on September 7th. Matthews was then arrested. Court documents say the victim in the shooting suffered 13 gunshot wounds. Matthews scheduled to be back in court February 28th.
Governor-elect Tony Evers is naming more members of his cabinet today. Evers has chosen State Representative Peter Barca as Secretary of the Department of Revenue and State Senator Caleb Frostman as Secretary of the Department of Workforce Development. He named Emily Amundson as Secretary of the Department of Children and Families and Assistant State Superintendent Dawn Krim as Secretary of the Department of Safety and Professional Services. Evers also picked former Obama administration official Andrea Palm to head the Department of Health Services. Republican Speaker Robin Vos released a statement following the cabinet announcements saying, quote, "I would like to congratulate Representative Barca on his appointment in the new administration. Governor-elect Evers finally got one right. Representative Barca is a reasonable Democrat who is more than willing to work across the aisle and has the political courage to do what's right for the people of Wisconsin."
SSM Health says it is seeing an increase in cases of people with stomach flu or norovirus. The virus is contagious, can be on a person's hands and spread to others, which is why they say washing your hands is vitally important. That virus causes vomiting, diarrhea, abdominal cramping. Doctors say there are no antibiotics that can help with stomach flu. They say all you can do is stay home, drink a lot of fluids, take some Tylenol, ibuprofen, and get plenty of rest.
It is the most important thing to stay at home from work for at least 48 hours after the end of your symptoms to prevent giving this to anyone else in your office, if you prepare food, if you work in a clinic, if you work in a nursing home.
There are more than 20 million cases of norovirus in the United States each year.
Radon is the second leading cause of cancer after smoking, and it could be in any building, including your home, your workplace, or your children's school. The Southeast Wisconsin Radon Information Center says the toxic gas is very common in our state, and that's why it's important to test for it. Tests can cost thousands of dollars for schools since they have to sample every classroom. Homeowners can purchase one kit for $10 to $20. Unlike carbon monoxide, radon won't immediately kill you, but health officials warn its effects can be just as dangerous.
With radon, you don't have that immediate hazard. It's something that's a long-term exposure risk. It's the same way with tobacco smoking. There is a risk from every puff you take, but the sooner you quit, the sooner you start improving things.
If you do find radon in your home, changing your heating, ventilation, and air conditioning systems can fix the problem, but that could add up to thousands of dollars. If you'd like more information on how to purchase a test kit, we have it on our website, channel3000.com.
Excitement has been building in Madison since the chain Portillo's announced in April that it was coming to the city. Portillo's public relations team says there is no confirmed date for the Madison opening, but they expect to open by February or March. Construction on that location started in July. At the time of the groundbreaking event, officials had said Portillo's was expected to open in the fall of 2018, but the Madison Portillo's will be located at Easttown Mall. More to come on News 3 at 5. Up next, the 116th Congress begins today. Nancy Pelosi takes the gavel, the latest from the nation's capital.
And more diversity, more women in office, how the new Congress is setting records.
And another crushing day for the Dow, off 660 points. Losing almost 3%. The NASDAQ plummets more than 200. The S&P down 62. We'll be right back. The historic 116th Congress begins today with new members and a new majority in the House.
California Representative Nancy Pelosi has been elected Speaker of the House for the second time. Democrats taking the majority in the U.S. House of Representatives after 8 years out of power. After reclaiming the gavel, House Speaker Pelosi said the 116th Congress must be pioneers of the future.
Together, we will let it be known that this House will truly be the people's house.
I just want to start off by congratulating Nancy Pelosi on being elected Speaker of the House. It's a very, very great achievement. And hopefully we're going to work together and we're going to get lots of things done like infrastructure and so much more.
Congressional leaders will head to the White House tomorrow to resume shutdown negotiations.
It is the most racially diverse, it has the most women elected to the House in congressional history, and that includes the first Native American Congresswoman, Sharice Davids of Kansas, and Deb Haaland in New Mexico, and the first Muslim Congresswoman from Michigan and Minnesota. In all, the House now has 102 Congresswomen, the biggest boost of women members since the 1990s. The Senate has 25, increasing the number of states represented solely by female senators. Arizona became the 6th after the appointment of Martha McSally.
A Michigan man imprisoned in Moscow has been able to meet with the U.S. ambassador to Russia. John Huntsman visited the facility and 48-year-old Paul Whelan yesterday. Whelan is from just outside Detroit and has been working for an auto parts company since 2017. His family says he was in Moscow for a wedding and he is innocent. Russian media is quoting an unnamed source in the Russian Special Services saying that Whelan tried to recruit a friend and obtain information about Russian departments and services. The U.S. State Department is not happy it took nearly a week before U.S. officials were allowed access to Whelan.
We've made clear to the Russians our expectation that we will learn more about the charges, come to understand what it is he's been accused of, and if the detention is not appropriate, we will demand his immediate return.
Whelan's detention has raised speculation that Russia is retaliating for the arrest of a Russian woman in Washington, D.C. on spy charges.
What started as a teenage egg-throwing prank has ended in a murder charge for a Houston 14-year-old. Surveillance video captured the crash when a 14-year-old driving an SUV plowed into a pickup truck, killing 45-year-old Sylvia Zavala, who was in Texas visiting family for the new year. The Harris County Sheriff's Office says that SUV was filled with teens who were throwing eggs at other vehicles. The prank went horribly wrong when the teens claim a man with a gun chased them, which is why they blew through the intersection. The driver is in juvenile detention, charged with murder.
Let's head out to the weather patio. It was relatively mild today and getting milder. Hi, Gary.
Hi. Average high temperature should be in the mid to upper 20s, and we're going to be at points close to 20 degrees above that, especially for Saturday and maybe Monday and Thursday of next week. Let's start out by taking a look at visible cloud track. There's a little snow on the ground through southern and parts of central Wisconsin into eastern Iowa, but a lot of that snow cover I think will melt over the next few days. In fact, as you look at Doppler track, you can see the only falling snow from the clouds is over eastern portions of Lake Superior, northern lower Michigan, and into Ontario. Snow depth right now, most of Wisconsin, pretty much the entire state, is covered with at least some snow. The lighter amounts are south and west of Madison, a little heavier amounts to the north and east of several inches there. The heaviest amounts overall are closer to Lake Superior and into parts of northeastern Minnesota. Temperatures this morning, not nearly as cold as they were the last couple of mornings. Here in Madison, we dropped to 21, but even in those areas that have thicker snow cover to the north and west, temperatures were in the upper teens to around 20 degrees, and that's thanks to southerly winds that continued through the night. Live view from the Edgewater Sky Cam in downtown Madison. We have clear skies right now. Our high today, 37. That's 10 degrees above average. Low temperature of 21, about the same amount above normal as well. 36 is the current temperature with mainly clear skies. Winds are out of the south-southwest at 9 miles per hour. Wind chill right now is at 29 degrees. High temperatures over the next 7 days, well, the average high temperature is at 26 degrees, and you can just see how far above normal we're going to be. Temperatures middle to upper 30s on the low end and lower to middle 40s on the high end over the next 7 days. And then beyond that, the 8 to 14-day temperature outlook from January 11th through the 17th, above normal temperatures, highest probability from southern Wisconsin through much of Iowa. Above normal precipitation is expected, though. We'll see a couple of weather systems that'll bring us mainly rain on Monday and then Thursday into late Thursday night into Friday of next week. That could change over to a little snow on the back end of that, but then temperatures may warm up again right after that. Current temperatures are in the middle 30s across much of the state. Green Bay is just below freezing. Everybody else is above freezing. And on weather track, even though the upper level winds have shifted temporarily to the northwest, we have a big storm system that's passing well to the south of us. So that will allow milder Pacific air to kind of ride up and over that storm, and we'll stay on the mild side as that storm system brings snow to parts of Oklahoma and the Texas panhandles, but takes a southerly path and bypasses our part of the Midwest. Very typical for an El Nino weather pattern, which we're seeing this winter. We have the active storm track to the southern part of the United States. Northern part of the country stays dry and fairly mild. It's also a little breezy as well at times as the trough of low pressure approaches from the west. But you can see it's warmer in Omaha, Nebraska than it is in Paducah, Kentucky. 50 in Omaha right now, 41 in Paducah. You can see 30s in Oklahoma where they have had some snow. On future track, that southern system will stay to our south. We'll stay high and dry with southerly winds and westerly winds, keeping our temperatures in the upper 30s for tomorrow. A little fog tomorrow night, followed by more sunshine on Saturday. High temperatures will top out in the middle 40s. Then a little bank of clouds to the north will drop southward. There'll be a cold front that'll reach us on Sunday, giving us a little more cloud cover and keeping temperatures just a little bit colder. So for tonight, mostly clear and milder, low temperature dropping to 26 degrees. For tomorrow, a mostly sunny and mild day with a high temperature of 39. As we check out future track, you can see those southerly winds continuing overnight, keeping temperatures only in the mid-20s for overnight lows. High temperatures tomorrow topping out near 40 in Madison and in the low 40s to our south. Tomorrow night, again, some fog. Low clouds may develop for a time, but those will lift early on Saturday, and skies will turn sunny, and that'll get temperatures up into the lower to middle 40s. 7 to 10 day forecast, those temperatures remaining above normal. Expect cloudy skies on Sunday. Rain and snow showers Sunday night, changing to rain and a windy day on Monday with high of 42. Maybe a mix of rain and snow Monday night before that ends. Dry Tuesday and Wednesday and most of Thursday. Maybe a rain shower late in the day on Thursday. Rain on Friday will change to snow late in the day or Friday night. And then Saturday, windy and colder with some snow showers and flurries. Temperatures a little closer to normal for next weekend. As we take a look at first alert traffic, look for quiet conditions right now on the Beltline. That's the Beltline at University Avenue right now from the traffic camera there. Traffic moving pretty steadily in both directions. Just north of there, there's a bit of a slowdown on the westbound portion of US 12. Also some delays on eastbound Beltline from about Monona Drive back to around Verona Road. That's slowing the traffic down in the eastbound direction, about a 26-minute commute from University Avenue to the interstate, but only 18 minutes going back in the westbound direction. Heading out of Madison, the normal 27 minutes from the Beltline to Janesville on I-3990, 18 minutes out to Sauk City on US 12, and 17 minutes to Sun Prairie on East Washington Avenue and US 151. That's your first alert traffic.
All right, Gary, thank you.
Thanks, Gary. Ahead on News 3 at 5, a new app aims to give people time to prepare before an earthquake. That's after a short break. Of course, as we all know, earthquakes are a fact of life in California.
But now Los Angeles has a new warning system that could save lives. Chris Martinez reports.
That is the purpose. The Los Angeles mayor made good on a New Year's resolution, unveiling the nation's first early warning app for earthquakes.
It's not a question of if, it's a question of when the next big one is going to hit. We know that we live in earthquake country.
In a region that gets thousands of tremblers each year, Mayor Eric Garcetti says this high-tech tool will save lives. The app is called Shake Alert LA. It sends a warning when an earthquake 5.0 or greater hits Los Angeles County, so residents can prepare.
Whether that's pulling to the side of the road, whether that's stepping away from power lines, whether that's exiting elevators, or taking a moment to drop, cover, and hold on.
The timing of the warning depends on where you are in relation to the shaking. If you're right at the epicenter, the alert may come too late. But if the quake strikes outside the city and travels along the fault line, LA should get the warning seconds or even a minute before the shaking starts there. The app is based on an early warning system developed by the U.S. Geological Survey.
It is the first one out of the gate, and so we're very enthusiastic about what might happen. We're going to learn a lot from this.
Other countries, including Japan and Mexico, already have early warning systems. If LA's works well, it could expand through the rest of the state and possibly beyond. Chris Martinez, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Another check of your forecast in just a moment. Stay with us.
On tonight's CBS Evening News, from our nation's capital, the new Congress is in session. The sights, the sounds, what it means for the president and what it means for the partial government shutdown. On tonight's CBS Evening News from Washington, D.C.
You want to take advantage of this snow while we have it because it's going to warm up.
Yeah, it's already warming up. I mean, today the snow is melting off the sidewalks and the driveways. Tomorrow, I think some of that on the grass will start melting. Temperatures right now above freezing, 36 in Madison, 37 Milwaukee. They were at 40 today. We had 37 for a high, but over the next 7 days, you can see those temperatures well above normal. Near 40 tomorrow, mid-40s Saturday, upper 30s on Sunday. Maybe some rain showers on Monday that also add to the snow melt as well. And then another warm up toward the end of next week before rain changes to snow Friday night into Saturday, and then colder weather moves in for the following weekend.
All right, Gary, thank you very much. We'll be back in 30 minutes for News 3 at 6. Stay tuned for the CBS Evening News.